Hey guys, it's Rich Boy J here, back again with another video, and this is going to be the Crait mock build series part 23. This mock is kind of coming on an end. We have about 2.5 weeks until we have our final convention, Brick Fiesta in San Antonio, and we got some work to do. So, as you guys know, we've been working on the cave sections, and that's kind of what this update is primarily going to be about. We did get some more ancillary details taken care of, just a few things that we had kind of been putting off, but are pretty important to the mock, like finishing up a Luke and Leia figure for The Last Jedi, as well as recoloring some of the ski speeders. So, I think you guys are really going to enjoy this update, because I have one other room that I actually did get finished up. It's one of the crystal cave rooms, and it was really fun to make because I got to make something that I don't really normally get to make. It was just a room full of crystals and rocks and stuff like that. So pretty cool. Got to incorporate some light bricks as well, and I think you guys are really going to like it. So just got back from Brick World. I know I promised this update was going to be up on Sunday, but the time that I kind of had allotted myself to actually get the update film ended up being kind of trampled over by the fact that I had to kind of unpack my ATM6 from Star Wars days and then repack it for Chicago, and I thought it'd go a lot better than it did. It was just a very long, drawn-out process trying to get that thing fixed up. But nonetheless, update is here. Hope you guys enjoy it. Let's jump right into it. So first, let's take a look at the ski speeders. You can see the first one right here has the red stripes, and that's just the one that comes from the Lego set. Garrett and I color corrected these two in the middle to just be solid gray. Well, not really solid gray, but just without the red stripes. It's just a neutral gray color with some variations in the pieces to not make them exactly identical. And that's just meant to represent what I feel is kind of the standard version of the ski speeder. Poe ends up having the one with the red stripes, and I think Finn actually has one with blue stripes instead of red. So once we get a Brick League order placed, we'll be able to make that one as well. And then we'll have a full assortment of every single ski speeder that you see in the film. We're also going to have a fifth one that's kind of going to be blasting out of the top of the door and that little hatch. I think we'll end up just keeping that one red, just because that's the way the set comes, and it's not really worth color correcting that one that you won't really get to see up close, because it's going to be kind of in the middle of the mock and elevated pretty high. So all in all, I think it'll work out, and I'm glad that we finally got that small detail taken care of. Also, shout out to the Brick Wiz for loaning us some parts for the cave sections. If you guys didn't know, Brick Wiz is working on, and I guess he actually recently finished his Crait mock, and he had some parts left over, and he decided to let us use them for our Crait mock just to kind of bolster our parts reserves, and hopefully this will be enough. I'm kind of getting the idea that we may have to be placing some last-minute orders for these rock pieces, because you guys can imagine we're just using so many of them on the mountains, and of course the caves on the sides and inside of the back of the cave. So these will certainly help out, and man, thank you so much. This is really going to help us not have to place as many last-minute orders as we probably already will have to do. So big ups to the Brick Wiz. Really appreciate it, man. Alright guys, here is a look at the inside of the cave sections. You can see that I added in my resistance shuttle, so that's actually going to help with figuring out this placement of the little columns that'll go up to the roof, and then hopefully allow us to be able to determine some of the other details that are going to be added in, like some scaffolding and barrels of like pieces of, I guess, crystals and stuff like that. So that'll actually work out pretty well. Just to give you guys kind of perspective, like this is no small shuttle, and it looks pretty small when you put it in this large cave section. So this is actually going to be a pretty substantial part of the mock, and I am so happy with the way it looks. One of the cool things that Garrett actually added in for this most recent build stream was this little cave right here that kind of takes you from the back of the mock to the inside, and through there you can kind of see the resistance shuttle, so that's kind of cool. And then along the sides there are some crystals and stuff like that poking out. So all in all, this is actually a pretty cool part, and it'll just, you know, kind of give the essence of a cave even better through the back of this mock. And then one of the other parts that he's kind of been building up is this corner over here. You can see got a lot of those rock formations going up, and then of course there is a little cave that would take you to the tunnel down there. So something I showed off in the last update, and you can see it's slowly coming into fruition over there on that side of the mock. And this is the side that I was working on during the build stream. I got a lot of that wall built up, which is nice because it's a lot of bricks and it's a lot of just building up with slopes. Kind of reminds you of the mountain sections, honestly. But you can see that I also added in some of like the red, trans red pieces sticking out. That's meant to replicate the crystals that are in the rocks. If you guys look at the movies, oftentimes in like the big cave section, you'll notice some of the crystals sticking out. I think it would be kind of cool to have lights just to kind of illuminate that section a little bit more, but for something that is so sporadic and over so many different parts of the MOC, we simply just don't have the lights to be able to do that all throughout this thing, and we're trying to not add too much stuff to it. We're trying to stick with what we decided on initially to allow us to hopefully make the deadline that we chose. So all in all, I think it turned out pretty well, and you can see that we have plenty of space for that first order shuttle that's going to be kind of crashed right here next to the resistance shuttle. So I gotta get started on that at some point, hopefully sometime soon, so we can get that built up and hopefully have it set up. It'll be really cool to recreate the scene where all the resistance troops are kind of standing around right here, pointing their guns, shooting at the cockpit, and then of course have Finn and Rose sticking their hands up saying, "No, don't shoot, it's us." So let's go ahead and take you back around to the other side of the MOC. And here's a view of the caves from the other side. You can see, once again, Garrett got that wall section built up pretty well, and it's kind of cool to see the little cave over there peeking through, and I really think it's going to incorporate pretty well into the MOC. So let's go ahead and take you back over to the room that I built up, and you can see that not much has changed except for the fact that we finally have our princess. So the idea behind it was just basically to have two capes. One of them kind of goes around the back, the other one is towards the front. Ideally, I would love to have some sort of collar piece that can kind of go up over her face, and I was looking at like the vampire collars and just kind of twisting it, but none of them come in a solid black color, so that's kind of unfortunate, but I think this still works out. Got an opportunity to use one of the new Crait, I guess, dress pieces that LEGO recently made in that Clone Battle Pack on Barris Offie, so nice opportunity to use pretty new element, and I think that it's pretty good representation of episode 8 Leia. So well, let me know what you guys think about this. I think that works out pretty well. I'm a big fan of it. It's nice finally having the princess actually in this MOC. So I'm going to move her back, and I'm going to actually show you guys back around this corner. You can see that Luke is making his way into the caves. I'm actually going to pull him out, but I did want to show you guys this cool scene. This is actually the thumbnail of the video, and I think that it's just so cool being able to see Luke making his way into the room so he can save the day. So this is slowly becoming definitely one of my favorite parts of the MOC, and the fact that it can finally have Luke incorporated, I guess is actually a better view of it, finally have Luke incorporated into it is very important to me, and I think it all just looks so awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that Luke figure and give you guys a closer look at it. And this is the Luke figure. You can see that we basically just used his Return of the Jedi torso and legs and gave him a brown hand to kind of replicate the, I guess, skin that has eroded off of his robot hand. And then you can also see that he's using his Force Awakens headpiece or Last Jedi, depending on what you feel that set is from. I guess it's definitely from The Last Jedi because there's a porg in it. Anyways, I digress. It is his old Luke face that comes in that Octo set. Works pretty well for this. And of course, we gave him a shorter haircut because he's looking quite spiffy in that last scene. It's actually just, I think, Chase McCain's hairpiece, and it's come in a few other sets, but it's basically that tousled hair and that dark tan color. So we thought that would actually work out very well for Last Jedi Luke. Guys, let me know what you think about it. We finally have the, I guess you could say, most important twins in cinematic history. Am I right? Am I wrong? They're important to me because I'm a Star Wars fan. But yeah, I'm super happy to finally have these guys built up. I think Garrett is going to make a set of these to contribute from his collection. That way we can have multiple scenes going on with these two characters on both days. I think the general idea that we've come up with is for the first day, Luke is going to be both hanging out in there, kind of making his way into the cave sections, as his force projection self would be doing. And that's actually the only place he's going to be for the first day. For the first day, Leia's going to be in here, sitting, talking with Poe, coordinating a game plan to evade the First Order, as well as out there shooting at the First Order shuttle that pulls up to replicate that scene. And then for the second day, Luke is going to be in here having his moment with Leia, of course, where he gives her the dice. He will also be out there fighting Kylo Ren. And Leia is going to be obviously in here accepting the dice from Luke, and then also is going to be up kind of making her way to the Falcon where they actually make their escape because of Luke's distraction. So all in all, happy with these figures, happy to be able to incorporate them in so many scenes in this MOC, and I think that finally having these just makes such a big difference, and it really just tells me that we are so close to finally getting this thing completed and kind of getting to the bulk of the important scenes from the movie. So now let's go ahead and check out the Crystal Cave section. So the Crystal Caves are actually right behind this section over here. I'm going to go ahead and turn this around so you guys can get a better view of it. And here we are. So this was so fun to make because, you know, there's no real strategy to it. The idea was just get as many crystals up as I could, and of course they got the skeleton hanging out in there as well. And then it also gave me an opportunity to use some light bricks, so you can see got some of those red light bricks hanging up there on the ceiling, and I think it really does a good job at making the scene. This is something that you don't see a ton of in the movie outside of, I guess, where the Falcon is flying through, but you do see a lot of this in the Battlefront 2 video game. So hoping that people who have played that extensively will get a kick out of this part. I'm thinking about maybe adding like an actual character in here, or I may just leave the skeleton. I would actually like to get him one of those like coal miners helmets. I think that would be a funny addition. Kind of hints that he was a old coal miner that got forgotten in these caves and obviously has decayed since then. So guys, let me know what you think about this part of the MOC. I think it's so cool. It just breaks up kind of the monotony of the gray wall. You know, I feel like it pops so much, and probably going to get some good reactions from it at the convention. So really happy with this, and I'm so excited to be doing so many different additions to this cave. I feel like all these rooms are going to look so cool when this thing finally gets built up. So that's really going to finish up the update this week, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed seeing all the progress that we made. I know it wasn't a ton of stuff since we were kind of rushed by having to get ready for Brick World, but I am glad we were able to get some things done and kind of just make a one step further into finishing up this MOC. So let's go ahead and move to the end of the video. And that's going to finish up the update this week, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. We have about 2.5 weeks to do this MOC, which means 2 more updates outside of this one until the final, I guess, finale, which will be uploaded probably around Brick Fiesta. That'd be the best time to make sure everything is completed. And I'm amazed. I mean, I feel that we've been working on this thing for so long, and it is really coming together. With that being said, though, we have so much more to do. I really want to get those caves built up. I want to get the roof done. I want to put the Falcon up there. I think that would really just go a long way in completing the MOC. So moving forward, I'm ultimately going to focus on getting that door situated and also figuring out how the hangar section for the resistance speeders are going to interact with it, and make sure that the door on the front, like the little hatch that they come out of, is actually there as well. So a few things I got to get taken care of. I'm going to go ahead and sign out, guys. If you like what we do, go ahead, support the channel by hitting the subscribe button, support the video by hitting the like button, and we'll be back again very soon. I thank all of you for watching.